You're from Tokyo, right? Nice.
Back when we were in high school, not just high school in the UAE, all right? Back then, we had so many several aspirations and so many dreams. How many of us could actually go step in front of the mirror and tell yourselves, I'm capable, I'm actually capable of achieving this aspiration, of achieving this goal? How many of us could do that? Well, for most of us, it's quite difficult to even comprehend that it's even possible, right? So let's take a step back and actually ponder over a really, really, really good quote from the late Sheikh Zayed, which says, no matter how many buildings, foundations, schools, and hospitals we build, the real spirit behind progress is the human spirit, the able man with his intellect and capabilities. Intellect and capabilities. He has so simply just described to us what human capital could even be defined as. Intellect, well, the UAE has been doing really, really well since the past 14 years, since 2018, when it comes to academic excellence and even research. However, we have lacked in capabilities. We have lacked in virtues, in value, in character of our individuals. So what can we do about that? Can the government actually go to somebody and tell them, you need to think this way, you need to behave this way, you need to do this? No, they can't. Why can't they? Because it's too late. So how about this? When is it not too late? Back in high school. So when we're kids, it's much easier for us to cultivate these different virtues. And in fact, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed had given us 4 simple guidelines, which were the four aspirations that actually build up the centennial. And that's education, happiness, government, and economy. These work towards building the knowledge-based economy. So how this can work towards actually cultivating human capital is through a solution that's called the Pearl Ledger, built from the ground up through high school. How does this work and how does this build a knowledge-based economy? Well, it works in the system that it is basically a reward system that's really replicating the stickers we used to get in high school. But instead, in this case, we call them pearls. It's something that we earn as an allowance as students by representing and participating in different extracurricular activities. So this way, we are investing in human capital by basically implementing a reward system that is an incentive for every student to participate in all of these 4 different aspirations. So the ideal structure of this Pearl Ledger is basically 4 different categories that represent the 4 different aspirations. And how can this be relevant within the high school? For an example, we can take happiness. When a student participates in social services, extracurricular activities, charity events, they're rewarded 1 blue pearl of happiness. And how can the government actually implement and build on this? Is basically through regulations of the reward system. If the government feels that, through the Ministry of Education, if the government feels that the happiness index is very low, the rank is very low compared to the world, they can provide a greater incentive for students to participate in these activities by increasing the value of the blue pearl. How has this worked in the past 13 years? Well, basically, with regards to feasibility, we've referred to basically the national KPMIs. So what we've used is, for example, the Human Development Index. It was ranked 42 in the past, and now it has reached rank 28 due to better incentivization of happiness. What we did, since it was not first well known, we had test groups, and we tested these test groups against the traditional educational system. And then it grew and it spread throughout the nation, and it was soon utilized within all of the high schools. And the results can be seen as follows. There have been significant improvements in happiness, economy, and education. The roadmap for this is basically, as I had said, phase 1 was the high school implementation. Phase 2 can be implemented in the university level, in masters, in theses, where incentivization could come in the form of scholarships and research grants. And thirdly, it's a little slightly more ambitious. It would be implemented in the workplace, where you would have promotions and different kinds of incentivizations like that. And then the 4th phase would basically be, and this is extremely ambitious, within the government, within policymakers, to basically increase the competency of the workers. Why I said that is because Now we can tackle the government aspiration. So with government competency within policymakers, we tackle all the different aspirations. As the Global Competitive Index illustrates, it's a composite of educational development, financial development, and developments in the labor market. To wrap this up and wrap the solution up, basically we're thinking about 40 years in the future. That's one generation, maybe even 2 generations of future leaders, right? So we're not only instilling intellect and capabilities into these leaders, what we're doing is planting the pursuit for intellect and capabilities within all of these leaders. And essentially in doing so, we create not only a habit, but it becomes a tradition amongst the years. And this is something that governments across the world would out of envy, describe as societal happiness. Thank you.